don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow.
Where is your Viltrumite heart? Until I see it beating in my hand, I won't believe you have one. Show me your power. Show me your rage.
Is this what you wanted? Enjoy yourself. Still having fun?
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Olga, and welcome to Tenshi Talks TV, where I talk about TV and trauma. Boy, oh boy, does Invincible have something to deliver here. Season 3 just wrapped up with the most incredible, jaw-dropping finale, but what I found the most amazing was the thematic journey that we've seen Mark take over the past couple of seasons. And it's not just that he's becoming more like his dad, it's this idea that he's becoming more of a Viltrumite. And Invincible has done an amazing job with this. They've been paralleling and juxtaposing Mark and his dad throughout the series. The former human-raised Viltrumite maid, and the latter Viltrumite-raised human-made. As we've been exposed to more Viltrumites in the series, I've kind of started to notice a pattern of distinguishment between what makes a Viltrumite and a human. In this massive battle between Conquest and Invincible, what stood out to me the most was Conquest's line of, "Show me your Viltrumite heart." It just goes so hard because the line itself is carrying so much weight. But what does that mean? What does he mean by that? I think what Viltrumites think their heart is, this heart of stone, this heart of tungsten? But that iron heart is forged in the dark depths of traumatic childhood events, okay? Like, I want you to imagine being raised as a Viltrumite for a second. And I'm going to use some comic references that I got from a YouTube video for this. But basically, you're born. And if you're not already up to certain parameters, they kill you. So to even have your first breath is already a privilege. If you make it past your first breath, don't worry. It gets worse. Because they're going to put you through thousands and thousands of strength tests so that by the time you're 2 years old, you're already able to levitate, start carrying weights, and soon enough, start training. And the training is rigid, okay? This is a militaristic style, brutal, hunting each other down, Hunger Games type shit, okay? These motherfuckers are fighting each other to the death since age 5 because this is what the Viltrumites want to do to create the best of the best. Viltrumites basically took the idea of eugenics and said, wait. Hear us out. What if we started applying those principles after they're released from the womb? And what did they cook? They cooked a whole lot of trauma with 2 shots of mental illness to taste.
The truth is, I want you to resist. I'm here because I enjoy this. I want to thank you, Mark. Really.
Will you be my Valentine?
This dude, Conquest, is literally having the time of his life fighting poor Mark, who cannot catch a break in his life. And we're just along for the ride. I mean, I know most people were having fun during this. I was mostly squirming in my seat and trying not to die, but you know, to each their own. I'm sure that some people really, really love violence and it's not for mentally ill reasons, right? Right, guys? Anyways, what I really want to explore is the Viltrumite heart, right? It's this iron cage of coping mechanisms and basically indoctrination since birth. We know that Viltrumites age slower as they get older, and once they reach maturity, they are immediately sent on solo missions as per the new imperial law to conquer other worlds. So most of the time, they're alone, and they only focus on the mission. The mission is to destroy, to conquer, to not feel any type of emotion. But now the Viltrumites have a little problem on the reproductive side, where there aren't enough of them, and there aren't enough of them to procreate more of them. So they need humans. They need to conquer Earth.
Let me gobble your dung.
If they can do that, they can secure a new breeding ground and therefore continue to expand the Viltrumite Empire. This is all, again, for the sake of the mission. But they've run into a tiny problem because they've sent one of their greatest conquerors, Nolan, somebody who's very good at his job, and he comes back after 20 years, which is the equivalent of 2 months, and this guy has abandoned the mission and fallen in love with a human and had a child and actually loved that child rather than raising him as a Viltrumite. Humans present a problem now. If you spend more than 20 seconds on Earth, you might become the next Nolan Grayson.
You did something to piss us off, and I thank you for it.
That planet and its people are toxic if they could do this to you. They too will pay.
He is poisoned, just like his father.
Viltrumites are baffled, bamboozled, discombobulated over what humanity does to a person. That's why they're so pissed off. That's why they send in a lunatic like Conquest to conquer these people, because they genuinely cannot believe what they are capable of. It truly pisses them off that humans could have the ability to change thousands of years of dissociating from emotions. So who better to send than their most feared member, the most dissociated, deranged, psychopathic Viltrumite? Because they're scared. It means that humans potentially hold power over them, but because they need those sperm and ovaries, we need to get this planet by any means necessary. So Conquest is sent to do just that. But because he's been alone for thousands of years, conquering civilization after civilization, he sees Mark, and this is his new toy. Bro is just as excited to push this man past his limits as a child is on Christmas Day. In fact, he's so entranced by the opportunity to fight someone new, someone who hasn't heard the horror stories and is experiencing them for the first time in real time, that he completely abandons the mission of convincing Mark of anything altogether. After so many years of committing atrocities in the name of this grand empire, he's empty, unfulfilled, and he just wants to play. He wants to push the limits on this new plaything, discover all its secrets, push all its buttons, take it apart until it's unrecognizable to its former self.
Got more than enough fight left in me for you, boy. See? More than enough.
Not enough. Is this what you wanted? You enjoyed yourself? Still having fun? Answer me!
I think the good with the bad.
Is this what being a Viltrumite means? Always fight to kill? Always make a display of dominance? Always make sure you come out on top by any means necessary? If that's the way you live, what exactly do you look forward to in your eternal future?
You'll live to see this world crumble to dust and blow away! Everyone and everything you know will be gone! What will you have after 500 years?
Well, I guess that question goes nowhere good, but let's dig deeper anyway.
I've had hundreds of wives. I've outlived everyone I've ever loved. Do you know what that does to a man? Century after century after century. The man you remember is dead. But I didn't receive that privilege.
The Immortal is a great vehicle for studying the coupled effects of eternal life and governance. In Season 3, Episode 4, we follow Mark into another dimension where Mark, having become Emperor of Earth, but needing to leave for unspecified reasons, left the Immortal as Earth's interim Emperor, stating he was the only one he could trust with the job. Now, the burden of living and reigning over generations of humans has taken its toll on the Immortal, and he has reached a breaking point. He would rather force Mark's hand to kill him than live any longer. But what's most interesting to me is his justification for why he can't do this anymore.
You shouldn't have left me in charge! You're the Emperor! You should have known it was too much for me! Especially after so long! You were the lucky one! The gifted one! Your family could endure!
The Immortal is implying that the reason he cannot stomach ruling any longer is because he isn't Viltrumite. He has bought into this idea that true Viltrumites are free of the burdens of humanity, devoid of feeling the weight of their heinous acts that keep subjects subjugated. Now, it's easy to believe this sort of thing when you're someone who does feel. Empathy is not for the weak. You may look at someone who seems to have it all together, who keeps a nonchalant attitude, who expresses no remorse for mistakes, or at least they don't seem to be burdened by it, and you think that's better. Even Nolan questions if the ability to understand and share the feelings of others is truly worth it.
They shouldn't matter to me. I'm not supposed to feel this way! How is this better?
Truth is, Viltrumites have built a barricade of glass around experiencing any type of connection. And with their slow aging and inherent physical strength, it's hard not to understand why. It's always been less about the pathetic worthlessness and inherent powerlessness of lesser species, and more about how being Viltrumite robs you of that same experience. You can take more of everything: physical hurt, mental burden, even time. So it must be for some reason, and that reason must be that you're better. You must be Viltrumite. It's the only way to justify the eternity of loneliness. The spirit of a Viltrumite is to rage first, relax never, and it just makes for the loneliest and most pathetic existence. Because at some point, the brain can't protect itself from feeling the brunt of emotional damage any longer. That justification that it's tried to hold on to for so long can get chipped away. And in order to not have a mental psychotic breakdown, you become the psychopath yourself. You become a shell of who you once were. That person is lost to time and ruin. You're stripped of your identity. As a Viltrumite, your lifelong efforts to not feel pay off for the Empire, but the personal cost is steep.
I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me. No one talks to me. No one wants to be my friend. They think I am unstable. They send me from planet to planet committing atrocities in their name. And as I get better at it, they fear me more and more. I am a victim of my own success.
Conquest's confession drives home the reality that Viltrumites are all victims of themselves. It turns out that killing off half of your population and engaging in a very strict regimen of only creating the strongest and toughest individuals to then conquer other planets by themselves doesn't actually evolve you as a species. Viltrumites cooked themselves so hard they got burnt. They got themselves looking like one of Future Canoe's abominations. And they hate being confronted by it. The Viltrumites would rather keep conquests away from their home planet because they don't want to look at him. They don't want to see what they will become.
Some days I feel so alone I could cry, but I don't. I never do. Because what would be the point? Not a single person in the entire universe would care. Take it to your grave.
The Viltrumite heart is just as putrid and perverted as a human heart would be if forced to live for so long, to rule for so long. And because Conquest believes himself indestructible, he can never have the luxury of a dead man's confession. So he confesses to his dying victims instead. He relieves himself of the weight just as he delivers the final blow, even if the relief only lasts until the next victim. I personally loved this addition to Conquest's character in the show, and even thought that the strange placement of the confession felt so right. Because of course someone as mentally deranged as him would choose this moment to confess and in this manner. But this is also where I finally circle back to Mark, our Invincible. Thanks to Eve reconstructing her entire body, which is so cool, by the way. And I really want to do a video about Mark and Eve later. So please subscribe if you're interested in that, because there is definitely more Invincible content coming. But yeah, Mark is given a chance to get up and be back in play. And his final motivation necessary to finish off Conquest is the combined realization that A, Eve is very much alive and not dead, and B, Conquest saying that this time he will make sure she's dead. But now, Mark has actually felt what it's like to lose someone that he really, really cares about. At the end of season 2, when he was fighting Angstrom, it was just a possibility that he was going to lose his mom and his brother, but it didn't actually happen. This time, he felt all those emotions. So as soon as Conquest threatens his love, he goes berserk. He goes Viltrumite mode. That final seat had my jaw on the floor. And even though I'm very disgusted by body horror, I'm also extremely fascinated by it. So I sat there and I was just in shocked silence, but also in so much awe at what I had just witnessed, because this is definitely Mark's worst moment of his life for the 100th time. And I was just thinking, oh, this must be the Viltrumite rite of passage. This must be what Conquest meant by show me your Viltrumite heart, because man, is it showing right now. And at the end of the episode, Mark's last words are, I won't hesitate to kill my enemies in the future. He has done a complete 180 switch on his philosophy from the beginning of the season, where he was so anti-killing, anti-second chance for criminals. His black and white worldview is still keeping him from seeing all the pieces and reaching his full potential. But at the same time, I now realize that him taking on the mantle of being a Viltrumite is adding nuance to all Viltrumites, the future of them, in and of itself. His unique experiences, his ability to feel, automatically set him apart from all other Viltrumites. And that is why he levels up every single season. That's why he's stronger than all of his variants. Even though Viltrumites have run themselves into this evolutionary corner, Mark is proof that they don't have to stay there. He is actually evolving. And now I'm more excited than ever to see where his heart and his actions are going to take him in the next season. He is most likely going to have to kill more enemies, but he's also going to be confronted by the aftermath of that. What is he going to do when all the pieces have fallen? When is he going to stop being a reactionary figure and start actually taking action for himself? And most importantly, how will he balance these sides of him? How will he reconcile the side of him that is physically stronger, that can endure the way a Viltrumite can, but at the same time, he has this human side that empathizes, that realizes there are limits, that knows the value of life, even if it's a short one. I'm really excited to see the kind of leader Mark will become in the coming seasons, because I truly believe he's not only going to live up to his name, he's also going to live up to his unique identity. That's the human Viltrumite heart that I truly want to see. All right, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and comment. If you didn't, leave a comment anyway. I love criticism. Just so you know, I will be covering more about Invincible in the coming weeks, so if you are interested, go ahead and subscribe and stay tuned for the next one. And as always, thank you.